Woo, woo, woo. Woo, woo, woo.
Yes, yes. Oh
Can I
my
woo, woo,
goodness.
woo?
Oh my goodness.
All right.
What'd you say? Do it again.
I'm not doing that again. Did
That
one
was good.
time.
That was good.
I woo
pretty
one
good.
time.
That was it.
You know, welcome back to the Soul Train Cruise.
Well, thank you. I've missed it. It's great.
Yeah, you've missed it.
Yeah.
How long has it been?
It's been 3 years.
Has it been
Yeah,
3 years?
It's been 3 years. Yeah.
Welcome back.
I just kind of took a break from the cruises. I was, you know, every now and then you're like, okay, I'll take a break. But I decided to come back this year, and I gotta say, the audiences here are amazing. The people just know the history of every artist on this ship, and that's something that you don't see on any of the other cruises. Most of the other cruises, I'm trying to convert people over to my music. This cruise is like, they're like, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? Why didn't you sing this? I'm like, damn.
Hey, but Jeff, you got to do me a favor, man.
What's that?
Everybody thinks they can woo, woo, woo.
That's true.
And I want you to give this audience just a little bitty treat on how to sound like
How
it.
to
Do the
do
woo,
it.
woo, woo. How to do the
it
woo,
right?
woo.
Oh, well. Can you woo, woo, woo? Can you woo, woo, woo?
See, that's how you woo, woo, woo.
That's how you do it.
Okay?
Everybody can woo woo though, because woo woo means whatever you want it to mean.
Jeffrey, where did that come from? Where did it?
That song was written by
birth of that?
two guys two songwriters, Andy Goldmark and Bruce Roberts, and they brought the song to me, and I listened to it one time, and I said, "Yeah, this is a great song." So I recorded it. It was called "You Should Be Mine," which is the correct title. And at the time I recorded it, my daughter was 3 years old, and I was playing it around the house because we were, finishing the music on it, and she kept saying, "Dad, play the woo-woo song." I said, "That's not the woo-woo song. It's called You Should Be Mine." She said, "No, it's not. That's the woo-woo song." So I called the songwriters. I said, "Guess what? This is now called the woo-woo song." So they put in parentheses, "You Should Be Mine," in parentheses, the woo-woo song.
Oh, wow.
So,
That's perfect. It's got to be funny, and I wonder how you stop yourself from just breaking down laughing. Some people who you call up to sing, it's just hilarious. All off key and,
Right.
just doing their own thing. It's fun, but it's hilarious.
It is. Well, that's the beauty of it. It's just fun. It doesn't matter. No matter how you sing it, it's fun. And then every now and then you go out there and there'll be this phenomenal singer out there. And I'm like, wow, where did you come from all of a sudden?
Like last night.
Oh, like last night. Well, that was crazy last night.
Yeah.
Because Claudine, Barry White's wife, was in the audience. And she was singing.
Oh my goodness.
At first she said, I don't do that. I don't do that.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, okay. And then she took the mic. She said, "I don't want to woo-woo." And next thing
then
you
she
know, she was
woo-wooed.
blowing. I was like,
Yeah.
I couldn't get it back. I was like,
No, it's contagious. It really is,
Yeah.
because I kind of woo-woo at home,
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I find myself kind of...
Find yourself-
Private.
Woo-woo-woo.
Oh, yeah, what?
it's a closet. He's a closet
Yeah, I'm a
woo-woo.
Closet. And then there's a second part to that, and it goes, "Can I woo-woo-woo?" That part I can't get yet. Okay, I don't have that part yet. I just
But
got
you
the first
nailed,
part.
you
not the
nailed that
second part.
first part. That first
Okay.
part was everything. Jeffrey, on the stage yesterday, well, the whole ship was rocking.
Oh, it was.
And you were still dancing around the stage and not falling. I'm saying if this man did not live in the gym, you probably would have lost it because you're dancing. You didn't just try to stand in one spot to get your balance. How do you do that?
Well, you kind of go with the rock. You rock with it. I stumbled a couple times up there, though.
You played it off.
But yeah, I just kept moving with it,
Well, Jeffrey, listen, it has a lot to do with health and wealth.
Yeah, without a doubt.
You're
Yeah.
drinking alkaline water. You're
Right.
working out. You're
Vegan.
You're really preparing yourself for
That's right.
for this kind of thing, this kind of lifestyle.
Yeah, for the latter years in life. I'm trying to preserve some of these years.
So talk about that a little bit more. I mean, you obviously spend a lot of time in the gym. In fact, I caught you in there yesterday.
Yeah.
And so you make that a priority in your life, your eating habits. Just talk about all of that and how it affects you as a singer, how it affects your instrument.
Well, you know, it started when I was young, I guess 18 years old, and I was singing in all these nightclubs in Rhode Island. And I was doing 7 shows a night. You know,
Wow.
that's what the club scene was back then. It was 7 nights a week you did shows, and it was 4 shows a night, 7 nights a week. So I started struggling when I was like around 18. So I went to this throat doctor who was amazing because he told me the key is to open your chest cavity and learn how to sing the correct way. And I said, okay, well, how do I start that? He said, well, you need to start running track. Go out and run track. It'll open up your chest cavity. And then learn how to sing from your diaphragm. And so I started at 19. And, you know, when I learned that this is what I wanted to do for a living, so I've been running every day since I was 19, running 2 miles a day.
Wow.
And I kind of have to do it now to feel good. And that kind of got me started. And then the diet thing, I just, you know, I had this acid reflux problem I was telling you about. And my doctor in L.A. says, well, you got to stop drinking coffee. And I said, I love coffee.
Yeah,
I
that's
can't
rough.
stop drinking coffee.
That's really rough.
So I stopped drinking coffee, and I went back to him 2 weeks later. You still have acid reflux. I'm like, okay. 6 months later, I'm like, well, I ain't drinking coffee. Well, what's the deal?
What's up?
And so it really, the coffee wasn't the problem. And then I started drinking some alkaline water. I have a machine at home, and it's like 9.5 and in 2 weeks, my acid reflux disappeared.
Wow.
So I've just studied basically the body, and I realized that if your body is alkaline, you won't get sick. I mean, you get little things like a cold, but the key to staying healthy is to keep your body alkaline. There has not been one person who has cancer whose body wasn't acidic. So if your body is not acidic, then it's alkaline. So you try to keep your body alkaline, and it works miracles. The alkaline water is miracles. Then I just changed over to be a vegan because I watched a couple of shows on TV, and my son convinced me, and you know the shows, the What the Health show.
What the hell?
Forks over
And
knives.
I
Forks
watched
over
what they
knives.
was doing to these animals, and I'm like, okay, that's it. I'm not going to eat meat anymore. And I feel better now than I've ever felt. But it works for me. You know, I don't try to push what I do on anybody else, but it works for me. And, you know, the funny thing is, though, if anybody goes and has surgery and gets sick, the first thing they put you on is a plant-based diet. They use the key to getting healthy after surgery is don't eat meat. Don't eat. So, I mean, it's right there for you. I mean, of course, that's the best thing for you. So I stopped. I've been in 6 months now a vegan, and it's working for me. So I'm enjoying it, and I have much more energy now. And
That's fantastic, Jeff. It really is. You know, we were at dinner the other night, and it was something you said that I found extremely interesting. You said, I believe you said your father said something about singing whole notes.
right. Oh,
And
yeah, my father was tough.
I wanted you to explain that, what that was all about.
Well, my father was, you know, I had one of them fathers that used to slap you first and then tell you what to do. His ass would be in jail today raising a kid. I'm telling you. Anyway. But, you know, I was the youngest of 12. So all of my brothers and sisters either sang or played an instrument. And he was an incredible jazz trumpet player. So, you know, his problem was he had 12 kids. So he couldn't, that's a major problem. I don't understand it. I don't know how he did it. But back then, you know, he had offers from Count Basie and Ellington and all those great, but he said he couldn't make enough money in a 40-piece orchestra to support 12 kids. Because, you know, people say, well, I'm Duke Ellington. Well, Duke Ellington's making the money. You're a side man. You're one of the musicians. So he played with those guys when they came through town. And so he was really into music. So he used to always tell me, you know, let me hear you sing. And I would sing, and he said, you sound like you're sitting in the refrigerator with all that. Because I had this vibrato. He said, you got to get rid of that vibrato, boy. That's ugly. I'm like, so, like, whatever. So then he said, sing, and I was into the Motown thing. I started singing stop singing all those runs. He said, if you want to impress me, touch me with a whole note. One note, just touch me with. If you can touch me with a whole note, then you're a singer. He said, all these kids doing all these runs and all that stuff, who cares about that? Anybody can fake that. Touch me with a whole note.
Your dad
And
was
so,
right.
You know, he is right.
Yeah.
And so, you know, that
Yeah, I mean,
taught me a
I mentioned
big
that it
lesson.
touched me. You touched me when you said that. You made me think of my father and these clues and these small
Right.
moments that you have where he used to tell me all the time about the fine points. It's the
Right.
fine points that count, you know? And when you said that to me about a whole note, it just reminded me of those, you know,
Right.
those lessons that we get from our
Right.
fathers, you know.
Well,
So
your father was amazing.
Yeah, you said
He was
your
amazing.
dad said the fine points. Tell us, explain that. What is he?
Well, I mean, we all can do, you know, what average people do. Everybody
Right.
can do. It's like an 80-20 rule, you know. 80% of the people are just alike. It's the 20% that are into the fine points, you know.
Right.
And those create the greatness. That's the greatness. That 20% is the
Right.
greatness. So, you know, when you talk about whole notes.
Exactly.
But you know, you're known for the woo woo woos and the
Right.
and all the things that
I'm the ballad,
you know, but it's a
kind of
balance.
thing.
It's
Right,
obviously
the
a balance. You
See,
know,
and with ballads, you have to touch people.
Yeah.
You know, you can, and with a groove, you can hide behind that groove. And there's a lot of people hiding behind that groove today. A lot of these young kids, you know, a ballad exposes you.
It does.
So you know, you have to deliver with a ballad. So
And you were talking about just the taking care of your instrument, taking care of your body, singing
Right.
from your diaphragm.
Right.
A lot of singers who are on in years and they're still doing it, but the voice is not there anymore.
yeah, a lot of them because you know you have to do it the correct way. You know, there's a voice is a wind instrument, and so the correct way is to sing from here and and the voice is supposed to flow off of the airstream.
Not get stuck in your throat.
If you're not, then you're straining all these muscles in here, and that's what causes, you know, a short-term career.
well, you know, we're gonna take a little quick break. Usually Angela says let's take
I
a
know,
quick
but
break,
we
but this
can
time
switch
I'm
up.
saying we're gonna
I
take a quick
like
break.
it.
Okay, and we'll be right back with Access Pass.
All right.
Good job. Yes,
All
we
right.
are back with All Access. Tony Cornelius, Jeffrey Osborne telling us about his life, his health changes, just staying healthy. You're getting us all into being vegans, maybe, and drinking alkaline water.
Well, I doubt that, but
No, but
but
let me
I'll
say,
tell
look,
you, I have influenced quite a few people. Have come up and
well,
told
you know,
me
Angela, we're
some
trying to
things.
influence you because I am alkaline.
You're alkaline.
There you
And
go.
and
I'm
I
a
don't eat meat.
pescatarian. You know, it's so funny. My mom announced when we were 12 years old that the family is going to be vegan. And that was, you know, when I was growing up, and they didn't have all kinds of delicious tofu, but Mom
Right.
did her best. It was disgusting.
But it's come a long way.
It's come a
It
long
has come
way.
a long way.
I stuck with it, and then
Right.
when I started doing my own thing, cooking, I wasn't making a lot of tofu dishes, and my doctor said, "Okay, at least add the fish." So I've been
Right.
a pescatarian, you know, for a long time. Who knows? I might give up the fish, but even that's, you know, that's pretty
That's
healthy.
great. That's yes, definitely much better.
But it's amazing how much protein you get just from plants. You don't need the meats.
Plant-based protein is the best. I mean, the biggest creatures in the world eat plants. I mean, you know, look at these elephants and gorillas, and I
Absolutely.
mean, they're all plant-eating.
Cows don't even drink their own milk.
Well, cows are smart because you shouldn't drink cow's
should
milk.
not.
The
We should
only
not.
thing that should drink a cow's milk is a baby cow.
Right.
I saw that on the documentary as well.
Oh, you saw that?
We're the only ones who will drink another species' milk.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy.
But Jeffrey, tell us a little bit about you know, collaborations. I mean, is that something that you're still after? I mean, you know, you're now doing your own thing at some point. But are
Right.
collaborations important to you these days?
Collaborations are beautiful if you find the right people to do it with. You know, I've always wanted, you know, there's, are we talking from the writing aspect or from the singing
both,
aspect?
both.
From both. Well, you know, I don't do a lot of duets, which is interesting. I've done duets
Done
with
some.
like Dionne Warwick, and I did one on my last record with Shaka Khan, and then Joyce Kennedy. We did a duet that was very popular. Last Time I Made Love. I don't do a lot of them, and you know, there are some singers that do a lot. But if I had to choose, the one person I've always wanted to do a duet with is Gladys Knight.
Oh, wow. I could hear that.
Wow.
I
I've
could
always
hear
loved
that.
her.
Is there any reason why you have not?
No, I think we talked about it. I talked about it with Aretha too. But Aretha and I were both signed to Arista, which is Clive Davis's label. And I don't even want to get into the Clive Davis thing, but he kind of blocked a lot of that from happening. But yeah, we always talked about it. It's finding the right song. Finding the right song. I feel like if you're gonna do a duet with somebody like a Gladys, don't just do an ordinary, regular, sad song. It needs to be something special.
Yeah. I could so hear that happening. Yeah, that would be
I would
beautiful.
love that. Yeah.
Your choices, your song choices, have made all the difference in the world. And in terms of working with producers, I know George Duke was very important in your life.
Oh, he was unbelievable. He meant so much to my career.
Talk about that, how that changed you and changed your career working
Well,
with him.
I was coming out of LTD, which was in 1981, and I was kind of out there, not knowing what direction to go into, and so I was looking for someone to produce, and the Lord kind of just blessed me and put me in the hands of this man, George Duke. I went and sat with him, and I just had so much respect for him as a pianist. He was like, he was a classical pianist. He could play anything. His singing was incredible, and his production was great. And he's one of those guys that allows you to learn. I learned so much from him. And he was so easy to work with. He always had this smile. I believe that there are angels here on earth, and he was definitely one of those people. Because you run into people and you feel people's spirits, and he was always the same, always smiling, always had the kindest things to say to everyone, and he just allowed me to learn so much. And it was interesting with George because he had produced a lot of people, and I think probably the hardest thing for George was him selecting songs. He wasn't really good at selecting commercial songs.
Okay.
So when I came, he was like, "You sure you want to do this song?" I brought him On the Wings of Love. He said, "I don't know about this song." I said, "George, because it's funny. See, back in the day, it's not like today. Today, artists can get a deal today, but they have to have almost everything completed. You walk into a record company, and the song has to be completely orchestrated before they say, oh, that's a good song. Back in the day, you come in with a piano and a vocal, and you listen and say, oh, I hear what this song could be. That doesn't happen today because there's no artist development departments anymore in record companies, so they don't have a clue anymore. So I brought this to George. It was me and a piano player, and he was playing it real fast, and I was singing a melody. And I said, well, I'm going to write some nice lyrics. He says, I don't know about this song.
He wasn't feeling it.
Yeah. And so I said, no, let's record it. Let's do it. And we recorded it, and then after we got about 3/4 of the way through, he says, now I'm hearing what you're hearing,
No, a little known fact is that people don't understand you're a musician yourself. I mean, you play.
Right. Well, I started as a drummer.
Yeah, you had there was a drum session period here on the cruise,
Exactly.
And talk a little bit about your
Well,
drum session.
that's how I got my start. I got my start through drumming as opposed to singing. Every little band I was in, I played drums, and I sang and played at the same time. And I met LTD the same way. They were coming through town, and their drummer he got busted outside the nightclub smoking weed in 1970. And that was a major offense in 1970, though. Just now, like I would say every night in my show, everybody in here got medical marijuana cards now. But that didn't happen back then. So I went to see him, and they had just taken him to jail, and I knew the club owner. He's, can you come in and fill in and sing a couple of songs? I'll just play. So I came, and I knew everything on the radio back then. I worked in a record store part-time. So I sat in, played drums with him, and sang a couple of songs, and that's how I got in the band. And I played on all the records up until Love Ballad. Well, I played after Love Ballad, but with Love Ballad, the record company came to me and said, well, you got 10 people standing in front of you, horn players, all that. Nobody can see who's singing. Ladies love this song, Love Ballad. You got to get up and sing. I'm like, I don't know what to do standing up there singing. I've always sung from behind the drums. So I got a stage director, and he taught me how to reach out to people. And, he always told me, the one thing I never forget, he told me was, if you touch the last person in the last seat, then you have touched the entire audience. So he said, that's who you work on. These people up front, don't worry about them. Touch that person back there, the last person, the last seat.
So behind that touch, we're going to take another break, Angela.
You're on it.
This is All Access
Yes.
Pass.
Good job. Welcome back to All Access. Our special guest, Jeffrey Osborne, and of course, my very handsome host, Tony Cornelius.
She always does that to me, Jeffrey.
What's that?
She says, "You're my very handsome host,"
He
And
should
she's
be
just making
happy.
it up. She's a politician.
Is it
All
fake?
right.
That's fake news?
This is
Exactly.
All right. If this is fake news, how many women agree that he's handsome?
Oh,
I rest my case.
there you go.
I calls him as a season.
Fake news.
It's not fake. You're handsome too, Jeffrey
Oh,
Osborne.
come on.
Definitely. Not being a politician, never been a politician, no aspirations for politics.
Yeah, this isn't a good time to be a politician.
It sure isn't. Well, maybe it is. Maybe it's a good time to clean
No,
some
this is
stuff
a good
up.
time to get some politicians in here. We need
Thank
to,
you.
know.
Exactly. But that's another whole show.
Yeah, we won't. That'll take up the whole show.
Okay, let's talk about you. Your music. We talked about you and George Duke, an amazing producer. A lot of people say that he's the type of producer who just brings out the best in you versus a lot of producers who can hear the sound without even knowing who produced them. You'll say, okay,
Right.
so-and-so produced this artist, so-and-so. Whereas George Duke, he brings out the best in you. Is
Without
there
a doubt.
anyone else you'd like to work with?
As a producer, well, there's a lot of people that I'd like to work with that I think are great producers. I think, by the way, I have a new record coming out. Well, it's supposed to be out in January. It's done, finished, so now they're talking about maybe April. But I produced this record myself, and I went back to my roots. It's for grown-up people. It's a grown-up people record. It's an old school R&B kind of record, and I got a call from I ran into Babyface in the airport, and he said to me, "I would love to work with you," and I'm like, "Well, why are you just telling me this now?"
Right.
Dude, I'm like, And so we talked about doing a song on the record, but we never got it done for this record. But he's somebody that I would love to work with. He's one of those producers and writers, that just, his track record stands for itself. He's written so many hits.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, it would be amazing.
I would love to see you guys
I'd
work
love
together.
to do something with him, Jimmy and Terry. I think they're incredible producers.
Well, another thing, Angela asked, we had an interview with Maxie Priest, and
Right.
She asked a question which leads toward the kind of songs that you write and the kind of things that you think about when you sing, and it's about people in your life. So would you say that your song has a lot to do with people in your life, and can you explain a little bit about that?
Most of my songs are life experiences, things that I have lived or things that I'm living now. That's what I basically write about, and then close relationships, like people around me. I watch what they go through, and so I write about what is real and what touches me. I'd say 90% of the time, maybe 10%, 5% I write out of pure fantasy. Sometimes we just write something out of fantasy, but most of the time.
Okay, let's hear the fantasy. I know Angela wants to hear what the fantasy is, so she's not saying anything, but she's
It
the
was
fantasy.
coming. It
oh
was
God.
coming. Well, I do host Pillow Talk, and so
Oh, you do?
you talking about this whole your voice is on there
That's
all the
right.
time. Remember?
Well, that's good. I like that.
Yes, and I can't wait
I'm
to.
sending you some new
You
music.
need to send me some new music. You know what? You said this is all about grown folks, and it's grown and sexy
right.
and old school a little bit.
That's right.
You mentioned last night in your concert you've got some T-shirts, and I love the
I
name
do have
of
the
them.
T-shirt.
Tell us about
My
these
T-shirts,
shirts.
they have them in the merchandise store. The T-shirts are called "Old School is the Shit," and I have hats that say "Old School is the Shit." And I say it on stage a lot. I do a little spot in my show where we go back and we tell people how people that I've been, influenced by, I love their music. So we go back and we say, well, there's spots where in music, old school music, you could hear a guitar lick or a bass line and you know the song immediately.
Yeah.
So we do a little skit on that, and I always say old school is the shit. So my son says, well, Dad, I think, is it all right if I kind of trademark that? I'm like, see, okay. I said, well, see, that's how young people think. I'm like, okay. I said, yeah. So he said, I'm going to trademark it, and I'm going to do T-shirts, and I'm going to do this. And the next thing I know, he's got T-shirts and hats that say old school is the shit. And so.
And hashtag woo-woo. You've
We had a
got that.
hashtag woo-woo T-shirt. That's right.
Got to get me one of those.
So, it's been working, and they've been selling really well everywhere.
That's
everywhere we're
awesome.
going.
I wanted to ask you how it is being on the road with your son.
It's incredible. It's something that I never thought would happen because my son was an incredible basketball player, and I always thought he was going to go into sports. And he went off to school. I went to college, and after a year, he realized that basketball wasn't what he wanted to do because he's 5'10", and 5'11" at the most, and he was a point guard. And he got to college and had to play against 6'5" point guards, 6'4". They were just taking him under the basket and turning around and dropping it on. Maybe this isn't what I want to do. So he comes home one day and he says, Dad, I'm rapping now. I'm like, rapping? I raised you. I never heard you rap one time. And so he got into rapping and he got into music. And my sound engineer said, well, why don't you, let him come out on the road and I'll teach him, And so he was under his wing, and this is his second year, and now he's doing my sound. He's doing my house. I still have the same guy, but sometimes he's out with Burt Bacharach. And so when he goes out with Burt, my son takes over and does the sound, and he's really good. It's amazing. And we wrote a song together on my record also.
And what was the name of that song?
The name of the song is called Work It. Can You Work It? And he's rapping on there. There's a little segment where he's doing a little rap. And so that's the only song that I collaborated on. The rest of it, I wrote everything. But
it seems as if you've never been, this last question, you've never been influenced by rap to do rap yourself. You've always been like right in that groove. Is there any reason?
I don't think, it's like, it's funny. I kind of stay in my lane.
Good.
I see.
Because
love you for that.
It's not really my thing. It's just like I get asked all the time to sing on the gospel shows. And I'm like, I like people like B.B. Winan, and I like those voices that have those harmonics in them. And I got a smooth, valid voice. I'm like, it's just, I love gospel, but I just don't think it's me. So that's kind of why I stay away from it. But then people always get deep on me. Well, it's just, it's the word. It don't matter whether you sound like this, just singing the word.
Breaking it down for
They're
you.
breaking it down.
Do you think Jeffrey should try gospel? Anybody out there? Gospel for Jeffrey?
See?
Okay.
That's not going to influence him.
Okay.
It's not going to happen. But you know what? I love the fact that you do what you do. You stay in your lane. You get some artists who are, figure, well, this is trendy right now. Let me try that. Let me try this. And you kind of lose. They lose what they started out with, what made them great.
Well, it's funny because when I left LTD and did my first solo record, people were saying that, I was too pop. Well, you're too pop. You were more R&B with LTD. And I'm like, I don't know. I might have a pop song with On the Wings of Love, but, the rest of the record is kind of... But, it's funny how people, they attach themselves to some of the things you do, and they want you to stay there. That's what they like about you, and I appreciate that, It's just like rap. It's not for me, but I appreciate rap. I appreciate everything that rap has done because rap has kind of evolved us culturally.
Oh, it's amazing.
It's made us aware, and these people are talking about what their life stories, and they're not afraid to say anything. And they are incredible poets. So I do respect rap. It's just, I know my strength is singing ballads, so I try to stay in
we're
that
so
lane.
happy about it because you do
Yeah.
it so well. Before we let you go, I know we've got to, but social media, I know that you're big into social media and you
Right.
answer your tweets yourself.
Right.
So for people who are watching and they want to just stay connected with you, how do they do that? Where do they find you?
Well, my website is jeffreyosborne.com, and if you go on the website, it'll connect you to everything. And You know, if you want to like order T-shirts on the website, you can do that. But my tours are listed on the website, and my tweet handle is Jeffrey Osborne _ Jeffrey Osborne. So you can always reach out either way. And yeah, it's important. I think social media is the thing. You know, social media has opened it up for today's. It's funny, people come up to me and say, how do I get started today? How do you get started today? Today's the easiest way to get started. You got YouTube, you got the internet.
Yeah.
The hard part was back when I was coming up getting started. You got American Idol, you got The Voice. We never had none of that. Come on. The only thing what got us started was Soul Train.
Thank you.
Soul Train. That was our vehicle right there.
Yes.
But that brought us into every household. We was in everybody's living room. I gotta tell you, man, Soul Train was amazing for us artists. And it opened us
Well,
up to
we're
the
gonna
world.
wrap this up, Jeffrey, and I want you to do me this last favor. I want the woo woo woo, but the second part of the woo woo woo. And,
The real
and
woo
after
woo.
that, we're out of here from All Access Pass.
Can you woo woo woo? Can you woo 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 woo? Can you woo woo woo? Should be mine, all mine.
Yes. Jeffrey Osborne on All Access. Thank you so much.
Oh,
Thank you,
thank
Jeffrey.
you. Thank you for having me.